Welcome back. In my previous presentation, I talked about research fundamentals. We continue our discussions. What are the steps in formulating research topic? Some research scholars tell me, sir, it is taking long time in finalizing my research title. I say this is investment of time because if you hurry up in finalizing your research topic, later on you face hurdles and then later on you repent. Better to invest your time in finalizing the research topic because this is the best way to start your research. Once if you have a very good, well-defined research topic in hand, then later on it doesn't take much time in other things. And later on you do not repent taking up a wrong topic for research. So, what should be the attributes of a good research topic? Can you list down some of the attributes of a good research topic? Yes, you are right. The research topic should be one, it should be such that it should be attainable, it should be realistic, it should, because generally research scholars are very ambitious. They should be ambitious, but under some circumstances they become over ambitious and they take up a topic which is very difficult or impossible to study. So then later on it becomes difficult to change the research topic and then they feel regret. Generally, in a PhD process, it is something like that. A research scholar prepares a research proposal and then gives a presentation before a research supervisor and committee. And this committee may be called, somewhere it is called research supervisor committee, somewhere it is called RAC, research advisory committee, somewhere it is called DRC, doctoral research committee. So this committee consists of maybe 5, 6 research experts who approve your topic. And once the topic is approved, thereafter it is difficult to get this topic changed. Therefore, before you give your presentation to this committee, undertake thorough research on what should be the research topic. So, let us discuss what should be the important steps that you have while finalizing your research journey, research topic. So identify the research topic that you want to take up, generate ideas, turn ideas into clear research questions. Is your research question very clear? Is your research objective very precise? Check it yourself, check it from others' feedback, give presentation before your peer group, and ask other research scholars to give their opinion about what do they think about your topic. Is it really clear, crystal clear? Something clear to you not work because it should be very clear to somebody else who reads your research topic. Then write it down because by writing you become more precise and focused. A topic should be which, for example, if a person formulated a doctoral research topic, a study into role of social media in improving the customer perception and overall sales of a banking company. Now, this topic may look attractive to you, very easy, very useful, but it has many flaws, as you might have noticed. First of all, is this research topic narrow enough to prepare a theory or to test a theory or to develop a new theory, because taking two broad topics may be good for MBA dissertation or MBA project, but not for PhD level research. For PhD level research, is advisable that you should take a research which is very narrow, focused, so that you are able to develop a theory. You have seen many theories already in the field of business management. Will there be a new theory by someone like you? So that is a question that you have to ask yourself. Is the topic really fascinating to you? If you love a topic, then probably you will be doing a good research in that field, because you will not get tired. You are doing something which you love. So that is the first question that you should ask yourself. And then do you have the necessary research skill? For example, if you are undertaking a research on employee satisfaction, then my question would be, have you ever used any satisfaction scale? Have you tried to measure employee satisfaction anytime? Or have you got any background in scale construction, scale development, using scale for measurement of employee attitude, employee thought processes? So some psychological uh, or behavioral study experience should be there before you start undertaking research in this way. So this is my question to you. So next question is, can you undertake your research project within the given time schedule? Can the research uh, be continued even after you finish and someone else will undertake that research? Do you have sufficient financial and other resources for doing the research? For research which require huge funds, um, you have to think twice before you start your journey, because you cannot stop the research halfway, and therefore you have to be very sure that you will be able to finish that research within the resources that you have. For example, one of my research scholars tried to study Fortune 500 companies with regard to their CSR policy implementation. Now, that research required collecting data, detailed interviews with regard to Fortune 500 companies with regard to their CSR spending, CSR allocation. Now, that required a lot of traveling, visiting different organizations, taking permissions. Again, financial limitations become, a difficult challenge. So before you finalize your research topic, have a look at your own financial resources, and then will you be able to gain access to data? Means companies do not generally give permission to uh, publish their data. So will you be able to get NOC permission from the companies? These are some basic questions. Then will the uh, institute standard be met? Wherever you are doing research, there are some standards, so you have to go to them. For example, if you are undertaking research in IIM Ahmedabad, they have a very clear research policy. You have to read that policy and understand and follow that, and undertake your research and generate the research output which would meet their expectation. So, and then another question is your research either substantiate or develop a new theory or test an existing theory? because research has to be based on existing theories or development of new theories. Research, before you start your research, you undertake thorough literature review, at least 50, 60 research papers on that topic on which you are undertaking research. Those things which already have been developed, studied, researched, they are your background. You don't have to repeat them. There are some theories already developed. They will help you in undertaking your research. Will you develop a new theory? Maybe possible. You may develop a new theory or you may test existing theory and find its suitability, applicability, viability, validity, or you may check the applicability of some existing theory in a new context. So define your research methodology and how you will develop new theories. Then my question is your research question very clear and well defined? Is your research objective very well clearly mentioned? That will help you in your research. And will the proposed research provide fresh insights into the topic? Are the research findings likely to be symmetrical? Does the research topic match your career goal? If you have the goal to become a good marketing analyst or a financial analyst, then your research should help you. After the research, you should be a better and you should become an analyst. Does your research topic relate to an idea you were given by your company, by your institute, by your research project? Sometimes some research scholars are fortunate that they undertake research on a project which is funded by an organization. And for example, World Health Organizations might undertake a research project on the overall health sector management in Rajasthan. So that kind of research study may be funded by Ministry of Health or by Department of Health or by World Health Organization. And then you have to undertake research as per their guidelines, as per their research plan, as per their proposal, and periodically submit your progress report to them. And then your research would be more useful because it will be very focused. Even if you try to deviate, they will not allow you to deviate. They will know research objectives, they will the expectation that they want from you. So that kind of research would be better. That's why I always suggest you that if you have to undertake the research, really good research, then preferably undertake a project, prepaid project, which you are undertaking research for organizations like NITI or for World Health Organization or for other such national or international organization or the local industry association which might be struggling with some themes and they might get benefit from your research. Generating research ideas, sometimes people are getting confused how to get new research topic, new idea. So what can they do? They can go to literature, they can read previous research reports, they can talk to professors, they can talk to those research scholars who have already completed their research, already been awarded PhD. They can share their experience and they can suggest new research topics. Similarly, you can participate in conferences, seminars, industry meetings. There, some people will give their presentation, and at the end of the presentation, they may give some topics for a study. So you can also undertake brainstorming. You can also uh, go through newspapers, find out articles, research paper on research teams. Some newspapers, some editorials might propose a topic for a study. So that would be your starting point, because if you help the society through your research study, that is going to be helpful to you. Research topics will need refining. You can use Delphi technique. You can conduct preliminary study or pilot study, and then submit the findings to your supervisor, who will help you in sharpening your focus. You can test out your ideas continuously and prepare it, and you can integrate your ideas. You can define topic given to you by your organization and take feedback from your supervisors, your colleagues. One very easy method in undertaking your research would be that before you undertake your actual research, give a proposal to your colleagues and get their feedback in writing, and that will help you. And another thing could be that if you prepare a research proposal, you also give a similar proposal to industry, which is going to be benefited from your research study, and then take their feedback, which will help you in sharpening your research focus. Uh, Writing the right research questions is very important. Write down research questions that are consistent with your standards, that are able to produce clear conclusions. If you deviate here and there, these questions do not allow you to deviate. These research, if you have a very clearly defined, very clear research focus, research objectives, research questions, then you are bound to remain focused. And your research questions should not be too descriptive. Use Goldilocks test and be focused and undertake research on the topic which you have actually finalized. How to collect research ideas and how to develop their research question based on them. Let us look at it. It's just a few example here. For example, you want to undertake research on advertising. So you want to know the relation between companies advertising and their share prices, that is the reaction of the market. So probably a type of research question could be, how does running a TV advertising campaign designed to boost the image of the company after its, I mean, this IPO has been done, its shares are already sold in the market. So how does advertising create better goodwill in the investors' mind? So this could be research question. Now, if the research committee will decide whether this topic is really worthwhile or not, should you really invest your time and resources on this topic or not? But it's a good, seems to be a good fundamental research topic. It's not applied research, it is fundamental research. But if you are going to focus it particularly on a particular group like Adani Group, like how can Adani Group improve its overall image among investors in India and abroad, then probably it will be applied research, because there you are focused on a particular group of industry. After all, every research should have three fundamentals: generalizability, reliability, validity. Your research should give findings which can be used in other companies' case also. So that you have to keep in mind. Next question, research idea is like job recruitment via internet, because these days the recruitment process is shifted to internet-based recruitment. Even candidates are applying these job portals like Naukri.com or Monster.com or LinkedIn jobs. So internet is now the more important source of recruitment. So the question, your research good question could be, how effective is recruiting new staff via internet in comparison with traditional methods? So it could be a good research topic if not done previously. Somebody has already done this research, then you may have to develop a new topic or new theme or advanced study on that or uh, more focused study on that. So similar, see, management is evolving subject as AI is coming or new technologies are coming. So there will be new research topics for you, which will be based on those, like is AI replacing the traditional manpower, or should every company invest in training its employees in AI for generating better output? This could be a research topic. So turning your research ideas into research project. See, if you have a plan to undertake a research on some really important national topic, then better you go through the announcements by various ministries, and based on them you develop your research topic, and then prepare your research proposal and give it to the concerned ministry for funding, and in fact wait for their announcements. They would also give announcement and invite researchers from across the country to give a proposal to undertake research on themes on which they would be willing to fund. So these days, government, various ministries, various departments, they announce and they give funding for undertaking uh, preliminary studies or fundamental research studies or applied research studies. So that could be your starting point. You would be able to get good funding. You would be able to undertake good research. So you can start with a focused question and later on define it and discuss the area with your mentors, with your supervisors, with industry experts, and then slowly uh, you would be able to develop and write your research objectives very clearly. Check with your guidelines of your institute and find out the preference of your institute for giving focused. I mean, I visited an institution for PhD doctoral Viva, and I found that institute had given a lot of emphasis on research on AI in various disciplines, and therefore anyone who was coming with a research topic which used AI, that this studies on so and so on AI, then that research proposal would likely to be approved. So this is just a suggestion to those of you, if you are finalizing a research topic in which you are going to use, I mean, you are going to check or test the use of AI, then probably it would be encouraged by your institute or maybe. So that could be some way in developing your, and ultimately you have to become smart. Smart means you have to be specific, you have to be, your research topic should be measurable, your research topic should be achievable, your research topic should be realistic, your research topic should be timely and doing it within time. And then also integrate your research with theory. What was the previous theory? What was the shortcoming in that theory? What was the observation of research scholars with regard to that theory? Testing that theory and then developing a new theory or supporting the existing theory. This could be your way of doing a research. So explain a phenomena, analyze the relationship, predict the outcome, and compare. These are the ways people undertake research. Some people develop grand theories, some people develop middle range theories, some people do research develop substantive theories, some people just check these theories, validate these theories, some people develop absolutely new theories. Then you have to, once your research topic is finalized, your research methodology is finalized, your literature review is summarized, literature review is ready, research gap is ready, research objectives are ready, research uh, methods, research tools are ready, data collection stats are ready, and how the research flow will go. If everything is ready, then you prepare your research proposal and give your presentation of your research proposal before PRC or before RAC, Research Advisory Committee. And let the Research Advisory Committee uh, look into your research proposal critically and based on their recommendation, you should carry your notebook and pen, write down each suggestion that you receive, and then you can further sharpen it, organize it, and in this way you become better in your research. The presentation in DRC will help you substantially in uh, finding out those limitations which probably you have to see. And also, uh, you must also take approval from your ethics committee of your institute. Submit an application to the ethics committee, submit a proposal, and the basic guidelines are that if you are doing research on animals or if you are doing research on human beings, which is sometimes a kind of hidden test, then you must take prior approval of the ethics committee. I mean, uh, they will review it, discuss with them, they will give some suggestions, or they will give approval. So follow the overall guidelines given by the ethics committee about how to use your research ethically and follow these research guidelines. The content of your research proposal is as to be as per the standard format specified by your university or your institution. Synopsis has to be in a particular format. First of all, it will have a title, it will give the background of the study, then it will give literature review, and then it will give research objectives and research questions, and then it will give research methodology, research tools, research data collection methodology, data analysis methodology, and expected output of the research. And if there are some research instruments that are going to be used, then those instruments, the sample of them, or if pilot study has been done, then a sample of the pilot study's findings would be a test along with the research proposal. And this research proposal, uh, at the end of the research proposal, there will be bibliography in which whatever journals, books, research papers you have consulted, their alphabetical list would be presented in the attached bibliography. And this proposal, you have to get a printout in 4 or 5 copies or 6 copies, depending on the number of people who are going to be present in RSC, and give your proposal before them and handle their queries and note down their suggestion. Modify your proposal as per the suggestions that you get. The research proposal has to give research methodology detail along with research design and data collection techniques. You also have to give the timeline of your research. Like if you're going to do research in 3 years, then you have to specify it like in 1 month or 2 months, you'll be doing your literature review. Then in next 2 months, you'll be undertaking your pilot study. Then in next 2 months, you will be undertaking uh, the preparation of your research instruments that you will be using in your final study, something like that. So in this way, it will be complete flow of how 36 months will be utilized in your research. And at the end of your proposal, you have to give references. Your research proposal will be evaluated by a committee, which is what we call as a research advisory committee or a DRC, and they will see the viability of your research proposal. They will see whether you will be able to actually implement as per the promise your research, whether the different components of your research proposal fit well, whether your research objectives are very clear, very focused, well defined, whether your research is based on attainable and what is going to be your sample size, what is going to be your sampling methodology. They will ask you some questions, like they might ask you what kind of sampling you have adopted. Now you say if you are going to do convenience sampling, then probably they will ask you, no, this is not justified. You are doing PhD research. Why don't you go for random sampling? Something like that. Or they might ask you, uh, what would be your sample size? And if you say, I've used a particular formula to develop sample size, something like 200 people I will be able to, then they will say, no, this is a research, the sample size should be larger. And just giving this kind of questions might be there after your research proposal. And they give you suggestion and you should carry with clean slate in your mind. Note down their suggestions. Don't have any preconceived notion and believe that the peer review process of suggestions in this uh, DRC is very, very useful later on. So, what should be the best research topic? Define the research topic which meets the requirements of your institute, your expectations of your supervisors are met, expectations of funding agencies are met, your research is focused, the research questions are very well defined, and they are based on literature, and you are following uh, what others have left. Other researchers have already given suggestion that more detailed research is required in this area. And you undertake research in that area, that is what we want you. So, at the end of your research presentation, you have to justify that your research topic is excellent. It is based on theory and it is going to develop a new theory, or it is going to check a theory in new context, or it is going to help in uh, validating an existing theory, and it is having a very well clear roadmap based on the previous literature, based on the previous research studies, and tell the leaders and the committee members what you will do, how will you do it, how will you collect data, how will you analyze them, what kind of research tools you will be using, and these things you can